But Jesus has told us we got to endure them. There's parts of this world that we can't get past it without going through it. And things are going to hurt, and things are going to be bad sometimes. Many of y'all know, but a lot of y'all don't. When Mallory had Noah, my wife had my son, he was born a month early, not breathing. When he was born, I saw them yank him out of my arms and start performing CPR. Then they rushed him to the NICU. And when I go bust through the double doors to show my family my son, I have no son. He's in the NICU. And I remember seeing my mom, and it was her time to see her grandbaby, and I lost it. I buried my head in her shoulder, and I just cried because I was about to go through a storm. And to me, I felt like my little family was about to be over before it even got started. And then slowly, he got better, and weeks went by, and he started to go home. And then when we got to go home, he would just quit breathing. All of a sudden, stop breathing. So he had all these things that he were attached to at nighttime. So we would be alarmed if he did quit breathing or quit moving. And he started going to the children's hospital. We would be 3 or 4 weeks in the children's hospital, not get any answers. Then they send us home. And then we go back and forth. And he did that for about a year. That's hard enough. That was a trial in and of itself that was tough. But now add on to the fact that throughout that whole process, Mallory was given a 50-50 chance to live when she went into heart failure. When the doctor came in and was telling us about Mallory's heart failure, peripartum cardiomyopathy, he was crying. He was crying, and he said, "You're way too young to have to go through this. I'm so sorry." He said, but the sad reality of it is you can take a quarter and flip it. One side you live, and one side you're not going to make it. You have a 50% chance to live. And those were some dark days in our life. Those were storms and trials in my life. But it was way easier having to face those trials with Jesus than it would have been had I not been able to have Jesus. And because I surrendered to God and I knew that I can't change tomorrow, but I have to endure what's going to get me to tomorrow, it made things a little easier. But there's people in life who don't have Jesus. They are not heirs to the kingdom of God. And they have to fight those storms and battles without Him. But as I was going through those battles and going through those storms in my life, over time I started to see that God's goodness was faithful to me. God's goodness was faithful to my wife and my son in the process and everything that I was having to go through in life. And then we see that happen here, and Paul's kind of putting it into a scenario of us to, hey, some things are going to happen and bad stuff's going to happen.